It says I am live. Hello, everyone. Let me get this all straight. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me? I'm going to turn it up. Sometimes I don't know. There we go. There we go. Good evening. Hold on. I got sound over here and things over there. Okay. I think we're good. It's Tuesday night. It's time for Tuesday Night Live. Welcome everybody. I am so glad to see you. It is 2026, New Year. We made it. We had a wonderful Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, all the other things that come up. I learned yesterday at work about, I think it's called, a lot of you will know this, but I just learned it's called Three Kings Day. If I said it wrong, please do correct me. But one of our coworkers brought a cake, a cake, and it's like rounded. And he told us to come and cut the cake to see if the baby Jesus was in it. Um, Hi, Tiffany. And I was like, okay. And then it said in the email that he sent, come cut the cake, see if you cut baby Jesus. And if you do, you're supposed to have, I think it is good success. And then you had to buy tamales for people. Anybody ever heard of that? The Three Kings, and it was, and then he had a little paper that you can read in case you didn't know what that was, because I didn't. And it said it's a Mexican tradition that's celebrated on January 6th, which is today. Ah, and on the 5th, kids at night would put their shoes outside, and it's supposed to be that someone, y'all help me out, I don't know who it is, like, for us it's Santa Claus, but someone would come and put treats and snacks and gifts in the shoes. So I just thought there's so many wonderful celebrations that we all can share, and it's wonderful. It gives us a time of refreshing, time of doing something different, and a time to celebrate family, friends. So I'm all for it. So I hope that you had a wonderful end to your 2025, because that's over. Whatever happened back then, that's over. We're now pushing forward to 2026. And, we're here already. So we've got so much to talk about when it comes to cruise news, and then political news that has then transferred over to cruise news. Everyone, I'm sure, has heard about what is going on with Venezuela and all that. But we're going to talk about how that transferred over to the cruise news, because this is not a political station. It's not a news station. I'm not talking about that. But, we don't live in a vacuum. It affects us cruisers and traveling. So I've got so much information for you about the latest cruise news, and there's a lot. We're going to talk about the 15, I said 1 5 new ships that are coming out in 2026. That's exciting. I want to know, is anybody, before I tell you them, because if you're already booked, you know what they are, is anybody booked on one of the new ships coming out in 2026? If you are, drop it down in the chat. As a travel agent, it's getting busy for us because people, the new year is here. So people are ready. They are ready to travel. They are ready to find these new ships. New ships are always exciting. It's just like when you get a new car, that new ship smell. Yeah, you can be the first. And if you are a vlogger, or, you can be one of the first to get on a brand new ship and experience all that stuff. So we're going to talk about the 15 new cruise ships coming out. We're going to talk about, like I said, what's going on because of Venezuela, what's happening with the travel, especially in Puerto Rico. And then I'm going to talk to you about wave season. What is wave season? Why it's great for us cruisers, and some of the deals that you can get for wave season. All right. Intro done. Let me get my drinks. My Dr. Pepper cream soda and my water. And then we're going to talk about it. Hello. Tell me, how are you doing this evening? Drop it down in the chat where you're visiting from or where you're watching from and how you doing. All right, I am ready. All right, what is wave season? Let me get all my stuff together here. Thank you. I see your chats. I'm going to look at it in a second. Hold on a second. Now, of course, as soon as I'm ready to start talking to you, I'm looking at all my notes, because I have to have notes because I've got so much to share with you. So I'm looking here. I don't want to talk to you about wave season yet. I want to talk to you about the 15 new cruise ships that are coming up, the big list. I have put together this list. And, a lot of times, even as a travel advisor, some of these ships, I was like, oh, I hadn't heard of that one before because they are, the mainstream ones, Carnival, Royal, Norwegian. We've heard of those, but some of these other ones, I would love to know if you've heard of them. And once again, if you're booked on any of these, let me know. Let's start off with the 15 new cruise ships coming out in 2026. Hands up, clap it out because we're excited. All right, let's start off first with the Disney Adventure, a new Disney ship. The Disney Adventure will hold 6,700 guests. So it's not like a mega ship like some of the Royals, but it's a pretty big dude when it comes to Disney standards, 6,700. 208,000 gross tons. This ship will be launching in spring, and this will be launching from Singapore. So this is a ship that'll be over in the Asian markets. It looks stunning. I'm very excited. I recently had the opportunity as a travel advisor to go on one of the Disney ships because I have never been on a Disney cruise. That's terrible. So in 2026, I need to change that. We were offered an opportunity to get on a Disney cruise. It wasn't the new adventure coming out, but I'll keep you posted more about our Disney cruise ship. So Disney Adventure, number one. Has anybody been on Disney? Is it worth the hype and is it worth the money? Because Disney ships, Disney cruises, they cost a pretty penny. They are much more than the average cruise, but they are said to offer much more than the average cruise. Yeah, my sister talked about one of her coworkers. That's all she travels on. She's like, oh no, I only travel Disney. I'm just kidding about the nose because we like what we like. Hey. All right. Next new cruise coming out in 2026, Norwegian Cruise Line. It is the Norwegian Luna. Norwegian Luna. This one this is a smaller puppy here. 3,571 guests, 156,300 gross tons. So much smaller, much more intimate kind of cruise experience. This debuts in the spring. It doesn't say exactly when, but the spring. And Luna, I think it doesn't say here in my notes. I got to find out where that will be home ported. If you know, let me know. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. I see you. Elaine, I see you. Was of Corn, I see you. Okay, the next one is, now this one I hadn't heard of before. Let me know if you've heard of this one. The Orient Express Corinthian. Yeah, these are one of those yachts, those uber luxury small ship yachts, 110 guests. So you and your closest 109 friends could get on this 30,000 gross ton ship. This will be launching in the spring. It doesn't say exactly when, but the Orient Express Corinthian. I do have another question for you. When it comes to the big mega ships, and I usually think of Royal, and then we get down to the smaller ones, the yachts and all of that. Which do you prefer? Where do you stand? Are you wanting one of the huge mega ships that has everything? It's huge and it holds 10,000 people all together with the crew, or are you somewhere in between? You want a smaller, more intimate kind of vibe? Let me know. All right, next, Four Seasons 1. This is, once again, one of those smaller ships. It's really a yacht, the yachts, 190 guests. So it's a little bit bigger than the other one we just talked about. 34,000 gross tons, debuting sometime in Q1. So one of the first 3 months of the year. Then we have Explorer 4. And one of the people that I watch, cruise vloggers, MH Family Adventures. I don't know if you watch them, but I watch them. And she recently went on the Explorer journeys and she liked it so much. I think she said, and she went on 22 cruises in 2025. She said that was her biggest surprise in a good way. And she liked it so much that she booked a group cruise on the Explorer. So Explorer, ultra luxury ship. This one is the Explorer 3. It holds 922 guests, 64,000 gross tons, launching in Q3, so later in the year. We have Emerald Kaya. I hope I'm saying that right. Kaia. No, did I say that right? Kaia. Yeah, the Emerald Kaya, another small ship, 128 guests, 11,000 gross tons, debuting in Q1. Emerald, now the second Emerald ship, Rhea. So we have the Kaya and the Rhea. Once again, it's the sister ship to the Kaya, very similar, size, and structure. We're moving down to now Viking. You might have heard of Viking, the Viking Mira. This one will hold 998 guests. This is 54,300 gross tons. And let's see, launching in Q2. So sometime in the second 3 months of the year. We have a couple of Vikings. So we have the Mira and the Libra. Sister ship, also 998 guests. So it's really cool for these smaller boutique cruises and these yachts that they're coming out big in 2026. Not even just one, but two new ships. That's pretty cool. That's really great. And good for us because sometimes we want to invest and do something different. Maybe we've only done the mainstream cruises, but now we're ready to do something different. So we have some choices. All right. The Mein Schiff Flow. This one is with TUI Cruises, 4,000 guests. So this is a bigger ship, 161,000 gross tons. It says here they'll be launching mid-year. We have MSC. Let's talk about it. I've done a video about this one. I'm very excited and interested. MSC World Asia. MSC World Asia. And I have a cruise news story a little bit later about MSC launching their world cruise. MSC World Asia, 5,400 guests, so not the biggest ship out there. 205,700 gross tons, debuting at the end of the year, Q4 of 2026. We have, drum roll please, I'm sure you've heard of this one if you are a cruiser or you love a cruiser. The Legend of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's new baby, is coming out in 2026. This is the 4th Icon class ship, the Rage. Everybody loves Icon class ships. If you are an anomaly and you don't love Icon class, let me know, because I've heard nothing from people who want to book, nothing but good things about Icon class ships. Legend of the Seas will debut summer of 2026. This ship now, it's not the biggest, but it's big. 5,610 guests can be on that ship. And I do want to let you know, when I'm giving you the number of how many people, this is just the guests. It's not including the crew. So add, 2,000-3,000 more for the mainstream ones. Okay. What do you think so far about that one? Was that all 15? Okay, no. Let me keep my notes together. All right. The Magellan Discoverer. Ever heard of that one? This is one that does mostly Antarctica cruises. So 100 guests, very small, very boutique, very niche. It's 5,900 gross tons. It does just expedition vessels, and this will launch, it just says, in late 2026. We have the Adora Flora City. This one I had never heard of. Adora Cruises, 4,260 guests. So it's a pretty big ship. 141,000 gross tons. It will debut at the end of the year, Q4 of 2026. And the final one is Seven Seas Prestige. Regent Seven Seas Cruises, 822 guests. Once again, an ultra luxury cruise experience. 77,000 gross tons. And it says launching in December. Bam. I've just talked to you about the 15 new cruises coming out in 2026. I want to know, are you booked on any of them? And if you're not, would you book them? Which one, like, let's say you had your druthers, you had the money, you had the time. We're not talking about you don't. You have the money, you have the time. Which one would you book? Or none of them. You don't like the new cruise experience. You want somebody else to check it out first before you check it out. Yeah. Definitely for me, definitely Norwegian. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Norwegian. I do know why, because I'm thinking Norwegian, but that's not what I meant when I said definitely. I meant definitely Royal. I want to get on the Legend of the Seas. I would then also go on a Norwegian. I haven't been on a Norwegian cruise in so long that I've almost forgotten the experience. So I want to get back on a Norwegian ship. So definitely those two. And of course, Disney. I don't know that I would do the adventure because, like I said, it's going to be in the Asian market, though I'd love to go to the Asian area. But I probably want to do one of the Disney cruises that are already like here first. But what would you do? All right. I want to talk to you about wave season. Wave season. Wave. What is it? Why is it called that? Why it's good for travel agents? Good for me because that's when we can make some money. And it's good for you because that's when you, if you're going to cruise anyway, you can save some money. Wave season. This is the time that we in the cruise industry call between January and March because it's when a wave of people begin to book and when a wave of cruise discounts and perks come out to incentivize us to book. The holidays are over, the year is over. They want to keep the momentum going of you booking these cruises. So they throw out all of these offers, all of these deals. And so we call it a wave. And it's typically between January and March. So we're smack dab in wave season, and there are so many deals. If you're ready to book a cruise, if you're even thinking about booking a cruise, if you want to give a gift of a cruise to someone you know or love, grab a pen and pencil. This would be really good to jot down. Now, the deal with wave season is they're limited time, right? The whole point is to get you to book. So we're not going to give you like the next 45 days. These are very time sensitive, limited time, but they're great deals. They're great deals. And I wanted to share some of the biggest deals out there. Now, if I miss something, because they come and go. They come and go, limited time. I can definitely miss it. I've done my research, but if I've missed something, drop it down in the chat if you know of one that I haven't discussed. All right, let me talk to you about wave season. And just like with the new cruises, some of these you might not have had on your list because you haven't heard of them. And we'll go through those pretty quickly, but I still wanted to give you the information for them because who knows, you might get an opportunity to go on a cruise line that you hadn't been thinking of and catch a deal. Why not? All right, first, Atlas. I'm starting them in alphabetical order. Atlas, you can save up to This is Atlas Ocean Voyages. Save up to 40% plus choose 2 premium perks. Now, we're talking about things like spa, drink packages, things of that nature. What do you call it? Shore excursion credits. And those 2 perks can be a total of $1,500. Also, you can get a hotel package. You can get unlimited Wi-Fi. These are, of course, on select 2026 expeditions, valid through March 31st. Now, if I give you some of these wave deals and you're writing them down and you're jotting them down and you want to know more, just do keep in mind, like they are limited on time, there are exceptions, exclusions apply. It's not just to everything. So talk with your travel advisor. If I'm a travel advisor, you can always put it in the chat, DM me. However, if you need more information, but these are going to be limited time and, there's exceptions here. All right. Azamara Cruises, up to $1,000 of onboard credit. What would you do with $1,000 of onboard credit? You got on the ship, and instead of owing all the money, you had $1,000 sitting there for you to choose and play with. I would love to know, what would you do with $1,000? Azamara gives you up to $1,000 onboard credit in what they call the Always Azamara Extras. These are things like dining, select drinks, gratuities, laundry service, and Wi-Fi. So this booking window runs from December 9th and it ends on March 31st. So that's Azamara. All right, I'm going to group these next ones together. Once again, luxury, ultra luxury. I'm going to group these together. Seabourn, Crystal, Swan Hellenic, Hapag-Lloyd, HX Expeditions, and Riviera Travel. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you have not. These are more of the expedition and ultra luxury cruise market, okay? They offer a 15 to 35% off their current fare or their previous fares, anywhere between 15 and 35% off, plus $1,000 of onboard credit. They have reduced or waived solo supplement. So I see that, TV Shop, buy a lot of pictures, spa treatments. I see that. I'm just looking at, Elaine said, I'm somewhere in between on the cruise ship size. Yeah, I get it. All right, so back to this. So, okay, solo travelers. If you ever cruise solo, you already know this. Solo travelers usually have to pay what's called a solo supplement because cruises are set up for double occupancy, and anything more or less changes, how they take in their money. So they account for that. So if there's one person traveling in a room, lots of times you have to pay additional, sometimes double the price, solo supplement. Well, these are offering waived or reduced solo supplements. So solos can travel just for the price of one, which in my humble opinion, it should be that way anyway. The rooms are so small, they're only big enough for one. Okay, I'm off my rant. You know the rooms are small. Anybody want to argue with me about the rooms being small on cruise ships? To me, they're the size of a one person. Unless you pay for the upgrade to a suite or a large, extra large aft balcony or something like that, the standard rooms are super small. Done on purpose, done on purpose. They don't want us to necessarily be in our rooms all that much. They want us to be out enjoying their ship and spending your money. So, all right. Let me move on to the next one, Cunard. These are mid-tier ocean cruises, up to $600 of onboard credit. Plus, they'll give you a drink if you're in a suite, which I think they might all be suites. I got to check that out. They give you the drink package and prepaid hotel dining. So, if you come in the day before and you staying in a hotel, it's part of it is booked, or part of it will be covered. This booking window expires February 25th. Yeah. Let's see. Holland America. Holland America right now is running a really groovy deal of $25 deposits. And so is Carnival. We're going to talk about that. Limited time. Holland America, right now, you can book certain cruises for just $25 to get your deposit. When they have these $25 and $50 deposit sales, this is a great time for you to sit down and kind of like open up your calendar and plan it out. This might be a cruise you're not going to take till the end of the year or even next year, but getting the opportunity to only drop 2 10s and a 5 and hold your cruise until you're ready is spectacular. Grab the space that you want, grab the room that you want, and hold it. And then you have time to pay out $25 deposits on Holland America and Carnival. Let me talk to you more about that. They also have what's called a Start Your Journey promo of 30% off fares. They have balcony upgrades, some for free, onboard and shore credits, and free kids fares. Now that is really good if you are a family, a family traveling. My children both have 4 children apiece, so it's difficult to get like a room for them that's not the ultimate owner's suite or something, or they have to get 2 rooms. So it's really good when you have the opportunity of kids fares being free. There's all kind of conditions with that. So talk to your travel advisor, but kids free. And this is valid through February 26th. We have Oceania Cruises, same kind of deal, up to 30% off the fares, $1,200 of shore credit or shore excursion credit. Let me say that right. Now, Princess, and we've talked a little bit about this before in some of my cruise news vlogs, so check those out. Princess, they have the come aboard sale. Come on aboard. Come on, we're expecting you. Didn't know I could sing, did you? Up to 40% off and $500 of instant savings plus 50% reduced deposits. That's pretty good. Yeah. Let me see. That will go on. Oh, and free 3rd and 4th guests. So this isn't, once again, a great opportunity for you to have more than 2 people in the room. A lot of times me and my cruise partners, that's how we've saved money, because there's 3 of us in a room. And if you get that 3rd or 4th person free, then you add it all up and split it. You got some savings going on. You have to book this by February 16th. And these departures are all the way 2026 and 2027. So great deal. We have some, let me tell you about some of the mainstream ones, some of the ones that you all know and love. And Celebrity Cruises right now, they have up to 75% off the 2nd guest fare and up to $700 of savings. Free fares for 3rd through 5th guests on select sailings. And these sailings go all the way through 2028. So think about it. For a reduced fare and 75% off, you can book your cruise now. That's for 2028. Come on now. It's a great deal. Royal Caribbean, what are the big boys doing? What kind of sale What kind of intro or promo can you get to get on one of the Royal Caribbean ships? Because, they're not inexpensive either. Their wave season deals are BOGO, BOGO, buy one, get one. So they have some BOGO fares. They have reduced deposits, kids sail free, and instant savings on the drinks and drink packages. Now, I hope that you have seen the video that I just recently did. It's a short about the silent upsell. Check it out. And the rule of six when it comes to the drink package. Check those both out because as wave season is here, I'm your travel agent. I'm also trying to make sure you don't get got. Because with all these deals, they're enticing you to get in on the ships, but some of that stuff you don't want or you don't need. You got to be careful. So check out the two shorts that I've done, the silent upsell and the rule of six for the drink package. All right. Carnival let me talk about the free at sea. That is what Norwegian is doing right now. They bundle kind of everything, very similar to Princess, how you can have the Princess Plus or Princess Premier when it's all bundled. And when I say all, I'm talking about your gratuities, specialty dining. What are some of the other things? Oh, the drink package, of course. It's kind of bundled into one, and you can have, depending on your tier level, if you have the Plus or Premier. So they have something called the free at sea, and it bundles your drinks, your Wi-Fi, and your gratuities. You also have reduced deposits, free cabin upgrades, and kids sail free. These run through, these are for sailings going from December through April. So like I say, limited time. Margaritaville at sea. If you can spend up to $800 of onboard credit if you get their bundled fare. And with their bundled fare, having all of it in one, that includes unlimited drinks, it includes Wi-Fi, and these, of course, are on Caribbean, Bahamas, and Mexico sailings. Now, this one is going to be over, sorry about that noise, by January 31st. So you got to book that one pretty quickly. Okay. Let me see. I want to talk to you about also Carnival. They have the more equals merrier sale. This sale was supposed to already be gone, over, but they extended it until January 12th. So today is the 6th. You got 6 more days for this one. But if you're a Carnival cruiser, once again, I was talking to you about $25 deposits. So you have reduced deposits of $25 per person. Now, this is when you're booking cabins for 3 or more guests. So remember, there's always some kind of condition with these. It applies to select sailings going all the way through the fall. You can also get up to $100 of onboard credit plus 40% off of their already, great fares. And these are on select sailings from April through April of 2026. So $25. You can get on a cruise. You can get your cruise booked for $25. So Holland America and Carnival, which of course, Holland America is part of Carnival Corporation. They're hitting us with these $25 reduced deposits. So if the entry to get on the cruise is the problem, there you go. Let me see whatever else. I'm trying to look to see. I already told you about Royal Caribbean. Who did I miss? No, Royal Caribbean, flash sale, booking window. MSC. MSC has reduced deposits, cruising for $199. You can get on an MSC cruise, certain cruises, for the total price, not the deposit, the total price of $199. Woo, MSC, they're out there. They have reduced prices on their drink packages, deposits as low as $150. They have onboard credit that they're giving in all of their cabins. If you're in a inside ocean view, you get $20, a balcony, $50, depending on the length of your sailing. 2 to 4 nights is $20 and $50, like I just said. If you're on a 5 to 9 night inside an ocean view, you get $30. Balcony and suite, you get $50. Yacht club, $75. Yeah. Children under 17 are free. Come on. These are some great deals. Once again, these prices, let me see, for MSC, this goes all the way through April of 2026. These cruises that you can take. So like I said, they're all different. You know, some are longer than others. Some you get a whole year and a half, some in the middle of the year, but check them out. This is a great time to book your cruise. It's a great time for me to get some water because my mouth's getting dry, and a great time to ask all of you. I'm pretty sure you already have, but please do smash down on the thumbs up, the likes. I need these likes to push this out. I need more people to see what we are doing over here. There was a comment on one of my videos recently, and I thought, oh, how sweet. And they're like, your videos are great. Your channel's underrated. No more. In the name of Jesus, no more underrated. Rate it. Push it out there. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your enemies. Tune in, but give me a thumbs up. Okay. So wave season. Do you have any questions about wave season? Let me see. That's very good. $25 to pay down on a cruise. Yes, it is. Let's see. I'm somewhere watching from Texas. No Wizard of Corn, not going to Venezuela. It's affecting other places around like Aruba and flights. Yes, that is correct. Fort Worth is in the house. Got you. All right. So I think those are all there's a lot more. I could go into a lot more detail about the wave season, what we have there, but almost every cruise line that is a cruise line has some kind of sale going on for you right now. If you are even thinking about booking a cruise, or this is the first year, 2026, you said, I'm going to go on more than one. This is the time. Get yourself booked on one of these cruises, and I will be happy to help you if you need a travel advisor to do that. But big time wave season things going on. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Like I said, I have all these notes. All right. Anybody hear what's going on in the news lately? I'm not a news station, not a political station, but I live in this world here, right? And we understand things that are going on. We know what happened recently in the news. Let me read this to you. So on January 3rd, the FAA temporarily suspended U.S. airline operations over Puerto Rico and parts of the Caribbean. If you were affected by that, please drop it down. Let us know. It was the big news blurb. People stranded. I'm still, even on my news feeds that are coming up, they're talking about like Natalie Portman, I think. She was a star who got stranded in the Caribbean because flights, they were over. So let me read more. And this was due to security concerns tied to military activity in Venezuela, which grounded over 300 to 400 flights from San Juan, just grounded. Now, U.S. carriers like American Airlines, JetBlue, Delta, United, Southwest, Spirit, Frontier, they canceled or delayed flights through early January with approximately 60% of their flights scheduled. So like I said, it was hundreds of flights. And we probably saw it on our social media. We probably saw it on the news. Flights were canceled. You were stuck. On our very first cruise that we took, and I've told this story over and over, that was back in 2001, and 9/11 happened. And when we got back into port, the airports were shut down. We were stuck. So I remember vividly being on a cruise and finding out you can't go anywhere and then being stuck. And the cruise lines put us up in a hotel. So I don't know if you know, like, what happened to the people. Did the airlines put them up in hotels? If you were already in a hotel, were you extended for free? I'm not sure what happened, but people were stranded. Okay, but the restrictions have been lifted. So restrictions were lifted between 1 and 5 a.m. local time on January 4th. So just 2 days ago. Now that depends on the source. Some say it was, different times. U.S. airlines began resuming flights, but backlogs remain. So you can just imagine if 300 to 400 flights were shut down and then they opened it up again, it was still bottlenecked, still people just stuck. I'm sure it was terrible. Airlines have added extra flights to catch up, though delays and limited seating still persist. So even though that happened on the 4th, I'm sure that people out there are still stuck in some of these delays. And if you are one or know somebody, let us know. So thousands of passengers were stranded. Some remained stuck for days as seats filled up quickly. Airlines waived change rebooking fees, as they should, and offered broader travel flexibility, which I'm glad they were on board with it. It wasn't the airline's fault, but it wasn't the passengers' fault either. So they were working with them. I'm glad to hear. It says here, American waive fees of January 3rd and 4th for all those flights. JetBlue, no fees or fare differences from January 3rd and 4th, with rebooking to all the way up to January 10th. And Southwest, United, Frontier, Spirit, similar waiving all flights, anything going on from the 3rd through the 6th and all the way to January 11th. So things are starting to move again. Now, here's the current situation going on there. It says, as of January 5th and 6th, yesterday and today, commercial operations have resumed. So things are working back again, though with still lingering delays. You know, you've been in a bottleneck before. Just because the traffic starts moving again, you might still be stuck. There's still delays. There's still cancellations. There's still capacity restraints. So airlines continue recovery flights into early to mid-January. Foreign carriers and military flights were not affected and continued their operations throughout. So that is what's going on. So if you had a flight going in and out of San Juan, especially for your cruises, I'm not sure what happened to all of those people. We have traveled in and out of San Juan on multiple occasions to do our Southern Caribbean cruises. So that puts us now, think about the geography of where Venezuela is and what's going on there to Aruba or Curacao, very close. So cruise lines were deciding if they were going to go to those areas. If you were on a cruise, and we saw on social media, some people were like on their ship, right? And they're sitting there and you hear the bing, 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 and they make the announcement and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to let you know that based on a abundance of caution, we're not going to go. You probably heard of what happened. We're not going to be going to Aruba. We're not going to go to Curacao. We're going to go, St. Thomas or Barbados or somewhere else. So we saw a lot of cruise ships diverting, not going into the area close by Venezuela, which in particular, Aruba, some of our favorite ports, and Curacao. What do you think about that? I mean, what can you do, right? What can you do? But if you are on a cruise headed for the beautiful Southern Caribbean, and then all of a sudden you've been told we're not going there, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but you're still on a cruise ship. You're not, getting ready to go to work in the morning like me. But it's a bummer when you get on your ship and you are going to a particular itinerary. It is quite possible that that's why you picked that ship to go on that itinerary. But us cruisers know that if you read that cruise contract, which we have done before, they can change it at any time and offer you no compensation. They have no, what is the word I'm trying to use? They don't have to offer you compensation if they change, because the change is done for, safety or whatever. They don't have to give you any compensation whatsoever. So yeah, anybody affected by all of this chaos over there in Venezuela that branched out to, San Juan, what we know that you need to do, of course, if you're headed there going anytime soon, check directly with your carrier before you head to San Juan. Expect the delays. If you're headed to that area, expect the delays. Put on your calm suit and put on your patience cap. Expect delays. Use waived policies to rebook or cancel if you can. And it says if you're still stranded, you're just, you're working with the airlines to monitor the situation and get you back where you need to go. It is a bummer, but it is improving. It is improving. It's not like it was, of course, 3rd and the 4th. So they're starting to move, starting to get out of that bottleneck. Now, the question that I have, how long will cruises, though, be affected going into that area, into, the Southern Caribbean, especially Aruba, Curacao, that area? We have a cruise booked in May, and people, because we always join a Facebook group, for our cruises, and people in our Facebook group were like, do you think we'll have any problems going to, because we're headed to Aruba, going to Aruba? And that's in May. I don't think so, but I didn't think we'd have any problems now, right? You can never predict what's going on. Stay prayed up and stay vigilant, just watch what's going on. That is what's happening over there in San Juan. To anybody who was affected, I know it's a bummer to be stranded and stuck. We've been there, but I'm hoping that they have done everything they can to make you as comfortable as they can and gotten you back to where you need to go. And thank goodness they're not charging fees. We don't want that. We don't want that. Yeah, that's the information about the chaos going on in San Juan in Venezuela. I know we all have thoughts about what's happening in Venezuela, but yeah, that's what's going on there that's affecting us cruisers. Okay. Let me see. I definitely have more cruise news for you. Believe me. Let me tell you about some positive things. And unfortunately, in cruise news, there's some stuff that's not so positive as well because it's news, it's life, right? Okay. Let's talk about something exciting. Carnival Celebration Key. Tell me your stance on um, what do they call them? Private islands. I'm going to stick with what I say. I like the destinations, I like the activities. I would much prefer to go to not a private island. I want to go see the culture, the food, the heritage, the history, the landmarks of places on the map. I don't necessarily want to go to these islands or these cruise ships, man made islands. I will go, and I've been, and I'm going again. But how do you feel about the private islands? You know? But here's something exciting for Carnival. Carnival wins an innovation award, and it was called, let me read it to you, Carnival Cruise Line Celebration Key. And this just opened in July. So they're doing really good. Just opened. They won what's called the Leading Edge Award. And this came from the World Water Park Association. I didn't know that World Water Parks had an association, but why not? Everything does, right? And it says an innovation and resort design. So this celebration key, it opened in July of 2025, and this transforms typical cruise stops into a destination where they have like themed portals, including a mile-long beach, massive freshwater lagoons, adventure zones crafted specifically for Carnival guests. Well, they uh, feature some record setting amenities over there, such as the tallest sandcastle slide. It looks, I mean, you see it as soon as you pull up, right? And it looks like this big sandcastle. Well, it's actually a slide. It's also over there, they have the Caribbean's largest freshwater lagoons, plus family friendly splash zones, adult only retreats, of course, all this. And that all contributed to the award. So the World Water Park Association has given them this Leading Edge Award, which honors excellence in water park design. So there you go. And that was actually done back in October, but it was officially announced just yesterday, January 5th. So kudos to you, Carnival. Kudos to your celebration key. If you're going to go to a private island, you want to go to one that, hey, has it all and has won some awards, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. I don't really care about going on the private islands. Yeah, I hear you. I'm definitely just I'm the same. I, I'll go, but no big deal. So kudos to you, Carnival. I have been to Carnival's other island. We're headed to Celebration Key sometime in the summer. We're headed there. So I'll get a firsthand look to see what all the hype is about. All right, let me tell you about Holland America, the cruise news for them. Now, this is not so positive, but it is the cruise news. On January 1st, so just what, today is the 6th, just 5 days ago, a 77-year-old woman went overboard on the Holland America Nieuwe Statendam. This was approximately 40 miles northeast of Cuba. I'm sorry. A joint search by the ship and the U.S. Coast Guard will expand around 690 square miles as soon as they were alerted to this overboard incident. It was an 8-hour search for the person, but the search was later suspended without locating the passenger. The Key West port that was next on the itinerary was canceled in response to this. So, very sad news about a person going overboard. I looked at another content creator, and I think they said the average for overboards on cruise ships is like 12. So, unfortunately, that, kind of spans to one a month. And nobody just falls off. Uh, yes, I did. Nobody just falls off of a cruise ship. You jump off, or you're pushed off, or you're drunk, and there's reasons why people go overboard. Unfortunately, and this is not anything that has been proven, so I want to say that right up front. But unfortunately, the news that we heard about this 77-year-old passenger was that the ship's recording showed what happened, and it very clearly showed that she did this. Like I said, I can't prove that. That was not proven, but that is what was stated. So it wasn't an accidental happening, is what is alleged. So very sad for the family of this passenger, 77-year-old female. Very sad for her family members. And of course, if anyone saw that, the trauma, being affected by that, it's just really sad. I hate to hear those stories. You just never know what a person's motivation is. And then, you might go on a cruise to celebrate an anniversary or a birthday, and then it doesn't work out. One of my friends told me, their cruise, they didn't like it at all because their significant other broke up with them on the cruise. So it was a miserable experience. You might go to celebrate a milestone. There's so many reasons why we're on that cruise. But could you even imagine one of the reasons why you would book a cruise is to end it right there? I'm just saying, if you are a cruise lover and you feel hopeless, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. I'm going to stop right there. Like I said, we don't know for sure what happened. We just know she went overboard, and she was not found, as is the case with most overboards. So very sad story there out of Holland, America. We need to watch our people. Take care of your people. Take care of the ones you love. Check on them, pray over them. Yep. You just never know. I want to talk to you now about a different cruise news story that's much more upbeat. Thank goodness. I don't want to talk about sad stories. MSC. Back to MSC. Somebody said to me, because I've done a lot of MSC videos lately and talking about them, and they're like, all MSC ships are not created equal. Well, 100% true. Like all of any ship is not created equal. If you go on the Star of the Seas out of Royal Caribbean, and then you go on Mariner of the Seas, they're not created equal. They're different ships, made at different times, different innovations. So it gives you, though, that wide range, even on the same cruise line, to choose an older ship, a newer ship, mid-range ship, a ship with lots of amenities, a ship with lots of staterooms. All of them are not created equal. So you do need to, do your research when you're getting on one of these cruise ships. But MSC really impressed me with their everything, their food, their entertainment, their ships, their rooms, their staff. I've been impressed with MSC. So the impressions keep coming because they have just launched their world cruise. I have asked you guys before, would you do a world cruise? You know my answer. Without hesitation. And like I said, if you had the money and the time, would you do it? MSC Cruises officially launched the 2026 World Cruise aboard the MSC Magnifica, and it departed out of Genoa, Italy on yesterday, January 5th of 2026. So I want to tell you some of the things. I'm going to move this right quick so I can see. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. Yeah. So this ship had 2,516 guests. They're going to visit 46 destinations across 33 countries. Oh my gosh, this is, 132 nights. You could definitely say I am a world traveler, right? Including stops in Tokyo, Hilo, Sydney, and Cape Town. Guests benefit from a multi-million-dollar refurbishment that just happened on the ship in late 2025. Some of the things that they got on this refurbishment are upgraded staterooms. They got 2 new specialty restaurants, an enhanced spa, and a new fitness center, all just in time for this wonderful world cruise. They have a revised itinerary where they added 12 extra travel days to circumvent the Middle East security concerns. Just 1 second. I'm sorry. And that was done. Okay, I'm gonna stop moving at no extra cost to the passengers. So, yeah, exciting. 132 days aboard a cruise ship, 33 countries, 46 destinations. My goodness. What would you have to do to prepare for that? My mom is getting ready to go on a trip herself, and she's going to be gone for a while. And she was talking about all the stuff that she needed to prepare to get ready for this trip. I got to get my mail, and I have to do this, and I have to make sure is my refrigerator cleaned out, da 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 da. What would you have to do to prepare for a 132 night cruise? Somebody's watching your house or your pets or your plants or something, right? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Would you do a world cruise? My answer is yes. Yeah. Something to reach for later on, maybe once I hit my 60s and I retire, that would definitely be something that was on my list. What about you? Yeah. I wanted to also show you something that I got for Christmas. I want to share it with you. I want to share it with you. Let me tell you why. As I have gotten older, I started to have like problems sleeping. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You know, uh, just having issues. And I knew, I felt it in my body. I need to be nicer to myself and get some good sleep. So I got a sleep mask. Look at this. Anybody know what I'm talking about? All right. So, yeah. And it's comfortable. Let me show you. And it is comfortable. It's all squishy and soft, and there's not like hard parts, because I don't sleep on my stomach, on my face. So the only hard part is like right here. And right here in the front, there's three little buttons. And one, if you push it, it's for heat. Yeah. And my mother said, "Do you want heat on your face?" My sister said that too. The answer is yes. It like has this heating, warms up, and it's like three different heat settings. And then the middle one is just the on button. But when you turn it on, it has like music, right? And you can sync it up and play your music. But what you hear is like the sounds of rain. Now, to some people, that's not soothing whatsoever. So you can turn that, you can change that. But you can have music, you have heat. It doesn't have massage. There are other ones that actually, like massage. I didn't get that one. But I have been enjoying my little sleep mask. And also another thing, where I live, the lighting, and even though I have blackout curtains, it doesn't get completely dark in my room. And my doctor said you need a cool, dark place that's quiet to help you go to sleep. And so I like this just for the fact that I put it on and it kind of blacks out everything. It's pitch black finally. It's like, okay. Um, and then, of course, I turn on the heat. But anybody else use a sleep mask or anything similar to this? I started researching this, right? And they had all kinds. I was on TikTok. I was on Amazon. I mean, for your money, they had all different ranges. They had, like I said, some that massage and some that have light and all this stuff. But this one, I got it for Christmas, and I have definitely been using that. To the person who got this for me for Christmas, thank you. Thank you very much. I have definitely been using my sleep mask. Any of you have a problem with that? Here's the interesting thing. When I'm on a cruise, I don't think I'll need to take that. I don't have as much issue going to sleep and remaining asleep on that cruise. That beautiful lulling sound, that rocking that you get when you're on a cruise. Yeah. I usually don't have as many problems. Sometimes I still have to like wind down because I'm so excited and all that. But here at home, I'm using my sleep mask. I thought I'd just share that with you. I would love to know, what are some of the things that you do to help you wind down? Like for me, what are some suggestions that you might have for someone who kind of, is maybe on the struggle bus to get that sleep? I've done things like certain exercises, especially that have to do with your hands and your palms and your temples. I have started going to bed earlier, and that's not the issue. You can go to bed, lay down, but you still got to go to sleep, and then you still got to stay asleep. So, um, Any suggestions that you have for me? Yeah, I'll take them. All right. I am so glad that you came and spent some time with me today on the first of our 2026 lives. Now, I'm thinking that I might have to change the time and the day of the lives, but I'm going to definitely keep you posted. We've got a lot of activity coming up, and I might be gone, but we're going to keep you posted. I just want to thank you. Give me that thumbs up for joining us tonight. I love being able to spend time with you, getting questions and feedback. Thank you for supporting the channel just by watching. You don't have to do anything extra just by watching videos, tapping on the like, giving a comment. You just boost those videos and it supports us big time. So thank you. If you know of anyone who enjoys traveling, cruising, cruise news, let them know about the channel. Tell them to subscribe and look for me to continue to give you some 2026 cruise hacks. I've already dropped two: the silent upsell, don't fall for it, and the rule of six. Also, don't fall for that drink package rule of six. Take a look at the videos and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I have some more coming out for you. Also, I'm going to do a series for people who are 60 and over. There are a bunch of travel perks that I don't know if you know about, especially when it comes to the airline. But I'm not just for people over 60, but especially things that you can get absolutely free that you probably don't even know about. We're going to dig into that. Of course, I'm going to keep the vlogs coming about our cruise adventures, and not just cruising. There's plenty of traveling coming up too. I'm certainly going to make sure to get that out. All righty. Thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed spending time with you in January. Look for us next Tuesday. Unless I send something out, we'll be back next Tuesday for our Tuesday Night Live. All right. Thank you. I'm so glad to have spent this time with you. I'm going to see you next Tuesday. All right. Bye.